from the 704 once again for episode 107 of the 815 Exchange. And well, first day of class, so you know how that's going. Per usual, welcome back, senior year, season finale, all that stuff, yeah. But we do also have an episode to record today, so we will be getting to that. And of course, it was a massive weekend in combat sports, and we'll be starting with that. But before we start with that, as always, everything you're looking for, everything you're searching for is in the description. So if you want to skip the rest of this intro, feel free to go and hit the combat sports tab in the timestamps. Or if you want to hear me talk about the Yankees' misery and hear me wallow in my tears, you can also skip to the MLB section or the entertainment section because there was plenty of stuff there. But as always, timestamps in the description. Social media links also in the description. Everything you're looking for is in the description. And as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, combat sports. Alright, well, UFC or boxing, which one? We'll just start off with UFC. Alright, let's get straight to UFC 278 because it's been the burning topic. As in the main event of UFC 278, Rocky struck. I don't know where Leon Edwards found that kick, but he found that kick, and he sent Kamaru Usman and the 15 bouts unbeaten streak, one away from Anderson Silva's legendary streak. He sent it to the ancestral plane, and sent Kamaru Usman to the ancestral plane. I'm gonna be honest. I was on my phone. I was kind of zoning out, not because it was necessarily a morning fight, but because it was a foregone conclusion. And I was like, you know what, it's late. Usman's gonna do what he does. I'm gonna, go back and forth, watch him clean up, because it looked like Leon was out of it. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. It looked like Leon was finished. It looked like he was done. It was the typical Usman fight. Usman, besides the first round, by the way, which Rocky won, and also broke down. I mean, he took all of Usman's zeros in this fight. Took down Kamaru at one point in time. It was like a foregone conclusion after the second, the third, and the fourth, and it was like, you know what, Kamaru has broken his spirit. The journey goes on. But then out of nowhere, Leon, with what is going to be now a legendary moment in combat sports history, when Leon Edwards landed that kick and immediately shut off Kamaru Usman's lights and turned the welterweight division on its head. A great moment, just a great moment. I did get a little bit sick of Leon, but you know what, the emotions of the moment. I did get sick of him saying, "Look at me now," as if this was the Breezy song from a couple years ago. Listen, it could have been a better promo, but I'll give it to him. It was from the heart, and that's what mattered. But Leon Edwards pulled it out of nowhere. Now, in the rematch, I would still probably take Kamaru, but you know what? I can't discount Leon. Maybe with this newfound confidence after knocking out the champ, he comes and he performs a little bit better. But just an unbelievable moment. It was the kick heard around the world. The kick heard around the world sent Usman to the ancestral plane. The rematch will be very, very interesting. Is Usman ever going to be the same fighter after this? Is Leon going to be better? Can Leon make the adjustments to be more competitive in the third, I guess, well, it's not the second fight, in the third go-around? So, a lot of intriguing stories, but welterweight has been shooken out. Every welterweight contender is looking at Leon like a shark, looking at, a seal right now. They're just licking their chops. Everybody seemingly called out Leon after Saturday night's event, so it's going to be very interesting. But yes, Usman shocked by Leon. In the co-main event, Paulo Costa and Luke Rockhold are savages. Alright, they are savages. Paulo Costa, by the way, pound for pound, one of the most entertaining fighters. Outside and inside the ring. Or the octagon, should I say. Pound for pound, most exciting. He delivers nothing but bangers. Nothing but wars. But credit to Luke, even though he retired, and like I said, Hall of Famer. A lot of people expected him to get knocked out on Saturday night. A lot of people expected Luke to get knocked out. But somehow, someway, Luke Rockhold proved that his chin was in fact not compromised. In fact, possibly the best it's ever been. Now, he was tired. He had absolutely no gas tank, but he still was finding ways, spinning roundhouses, I mean, just pulling out every trick in the book. Those kicks were vicious. He was throwing haymaker. Listen, he literally laid it. When he said he put everything he had left into this fight, he put everything he had left, including the ending of the fight, which was one of the, again, another super memorable moment when Luke Rockhold, with probably a broken nose, is just rubbing his face and smearing his blood all over Costa's face. As he somehow got top man in the 5th round. Listen, it was a wild fight. Absolutely, no question, fight of the night. And I think it won both performance bonuses, both of them. But an absolutely unreal 3-rounder. An unreal. Both of them gassed, but still just throwing. Somehow nobody gets knocked out after all the punishment and the shots and the blood. It was insanity. It was insanity. That fight was insanity. Luke Rockhold is a madman. Costa is a savage. It was absolutely insane, but a hell of a fight, and absolutely unquestioned my fight of the night for the night, and probably one of the better fights of the year if I say so myself. Other stuff that happened on this card, which I'll really just wrap up with the 3rd fight on the kind of headliners list. Headlined by one of the greatest of all time, Jose Aldo taking on Merab, and yeah. Merab handled business. What more can I say? Now, Aldo showed off possibly the best takedown defense I've ever seen him show off, but he did absolutely nothing. He did absolutely nothing besides show off the takedown defense. You just had to have some type of output. I'm not even saying this wasn't a winnable fight for Aldo. He just had to have some type of output, some type of offense, but Merab just completely shut that down, went in with the right game plan, and just Aldo could do nothing. He could do absolutely nothing to Merab, and Merab just handled business, and that, that gets him closer and closer to that title shot, which makes it interesting because one of his great friends and one of his training partners is the current champ in that division in Aljamain Sterling. So, interesting to see where it says there. Merab, I think, said they won't fight. He won't fight Aljamain. We'll see if you get that title shot, whether that happens or not, but yeah. Aldo fans were in the mud. Nigeria was in the mud, and it wasn't just because of Kamaru. It was not just because of Kamaru, and I'm about to talk about that, but overall, UFC 278, solid card. I'm not going to sit here and be like it was one of the greatest cards of the year, but those last 3 fights all told interesting stories. Of course, 2 classic, absolute instant classics, with the last 2 with Edwards' knockout of Usman and then Luke and Paulo shenanigans. So yeah, 2 absolute, a classic end to what was a pretty good card overall. Boxing. Now, I said Nigeria was in the mud, so that gives away what happened here. Usyk by split decision. Now, I don't know if it should have been split decision. I would have had it a UD, but whatever. It is what it is. The right man won. Simply put, now AJ came in with the right game plan at the start, but as Usyk downloaded that information and made the necessary adjustments, it became a repeat almost of the first fight. Until Joshua just decided to finally, which is what a lot of people think he should have been doing anyway, and that's kind of play the bully, play the role of the bully, make it dirty, make it kind of grimy. That's what he had to do. He's not going to outbox Usyk, and I think he kind of reverted to some of those old tendencies during those middle rounds, and that's ultimately what cost AJ the chance to recapture his heavyweight crown. But Usyk's just better, man. There's levels to, as we say, and Usyk is just on a different level than Anthony Joshua. It is what it is. AJ stays with that game plan, makes the adjustments. If he was just a better boxer, is almost what it feels like I'm saying, he could have beaten Usyk. It wasn't complete and utter domination. Alexander didn't murk him. It wasn't that, but he was just better. He was just better. That's the tell of these 2 fights, is that Usyk was simply just better. Now, he called out Tyson Fury. A lot of people are on the fence on whether Tyson Fury is actually retired this time. Even I am. I don't know. I'm taking him as he's retired, but I wouldn't be shocked if he came back. Usyk called him out. We'll see what happens there. I think more likely is that Wilder handles business against, I forget who he is fighting right now at this moment, but I'm assuming Deontay Wilder handles business, and that sets up Usyk versus Wilder, potentially for undisputed, depending, I guess. Usyk's got to be the #1 contender for the rest of the belts, surely. Also, I wonder what happens to the lineal heavyweight championship when somebody retires. Does that just go to, does it fall into the belts? I don't know, but that's also very interesting. But yeah, Usyk just better than AJ. Nigeria brethren, just in the mud. In the mud. Nigeria's nightmare. To take Usman's nickname and put it in this scenario, it was Nigeria's nightmare on Saturday. Usyk beats AJ, Rocky KOs Usman. Nigeria was in the mud. But yeah, Usyk just simply on a different level. Also, before I end off, that AJ kind of rant/tangent he went on at the end was, I couldn't watch it. I turned off before that even happened. But I could not watch it in the replay. His heart was there, but his mind was not. So we'll give him a pass, but that was certainly interesting. But like I said, Usyk on a different level. Now, quickly heading over to soccer, let's kick it. PSG. Big story last week. Huge story last week. Everybody's saying Neymar hates Mbappe hates Neymar, Mbappe hates Messi, he pushed Messi, he's disrespecting the GOAT, him and Neymar don't like each other, it's like Lewis and Nico, I saw somebody say. Shout out to the F1 fans, we back next week. All this talk. I mean, Kylian Mbappe was the most overrated, overhyped, pace merchant diva you could ever imagine last week. You know, he was going to fall apart. He was going to flop. He was going to be the thing that holds back the greatness of this PSG team, potentially. He's the one that doesn't fit. That's what we heard all week, the past 2 weeks, really, up to Sunday. And that all got silenced 8 seconds, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, but 8. 8 seconds into the Lille versus PSG match when Messi and Mbappe and Paris Saint-Germain pulled off the FIFA kickoff glitch. And I don't know. First off, Messi, great pass. Legend doing what legend does. And then, I don't know. It felt like Mbappe teleported. I was surprised he wasn't offside. But yeah, just Mbappe somehow teleports to the ball. One touch, good as you can get finish. And they score 8 seconds into the match, and everything, all of the talk is done. They celebrate with each other. It's all of the talk is suddenly gone. All of the talk about Mbappe being a diva or them hating each other died in 8 seconds with the fastest goal in Ligue 1 history. But they did not stop there. In fact, Mbappe ended up with a hat trick. Neymar got on the board with a brace, but then also had a hat trick of assist. He's now at 11 goal contributions in, I think, 2 games or something ridiculous. Messi himself ended up with a goal and an assist. It's just absurd. Vitania is just been great, by the way, in the midfield. Gadier, listen, Pac needs to be arrested for crimes against football. Crimes against football. He needs to be arrested. We need to take him in and charge him. It is unbelievable what Mauricio Pochettino is. Unbelievable. How you had these 3, and I'm gonna be honest. It looked like Messi was somewhat washed at some points last year. It looked like Neymar might just not be the same guy that a lot of people thought he was. Mbappe went off, like I said, named the best player on the planet last year, but that was it. That was a Champions League failure, the usual. They won the league though, so they got that back. But somehow, in 2 games, Christian Gadier has somehow figured out what Pac somehow could not get right. And suddenly, PSG looks like a Death Star. We'll see if it lasts, but my goodness, this Paris Saint-Germain looks good. And Neymar, Messi, but listen, you could say PSG has the best player in the world, and I'd probably say, you could ask me, Messi, Neymar, or Mbappe, and I'd say yes. It can be either of the 3. Depends on the day. But yeah, they obliterate Lille, who were one of the title challengers, but they went 7-1. It was just a massacre. Leeds United. Oh boy, Chelsea is listen, I thought Manchester United was down bad. And they still are. By all means, they are down bad. Got a little better by getting Casemiro this week, but still down bad. But my, it seems like Chelsea wants a seat at that table because Leeds United took Tuchel and Co to school. Took him to school. The Americans, the team with the great American, with the American superstar in Christian Pulisic, got outclassed by the MLS's finest at Leeds United. And I'm not just talking about the Americans and Tyler Adams, even though he had a monster game. I'm glad to see Tyler getting the acknowledgement he deserves. Not just Branson Aronson going nuts, and he's been class every single game for Leeds so far. They're loving him there. Not even just Jesse Marsh being a phenomenal coach. Came over from the MLS. He's made the transition to the Prem easy. He's been great for Leeds. But I'm also talking about Jack Harrison. Went to Wake Forest, went to the MLS. Now he's with Leeds. He scored in this game. It is just, I mean, maybe the MLS is not the retirement league that people believe. Maybe Ricky P, when he was like a lot of young talent, is going to start coming to. Maybe he wasn't wrong. Maybe he wasn't wrong. Because right now it's looking like he wasn't wrong because the Leeds United has taken advantage of that and they dominated this game. This game wasn't close. I know it says 3-0, which tells you it wasn't close, but it wasn't even as close as 3-0. This was a massacre. Chelsea has no type of offensive output, and it seems like they have no type of identity. And this is the team that won the Champions League 2 years ago, and they look lost on the pitch right now. They look lost. We'll see if they can get it together. Of course, they have a bunch of talent, but my goodness, has it been an awful start for Chelsea. We'll see what happens. Leeds has been on fire. Marsh has the team firing in all cylinders. They're fun to watch. They've made me a fan, even though, of course, I favor the Blues. They made me a fan. And, of course, I'm American, so naturally I gravitate to the American players. Free Pulisic. I would love to see him go to Leeds. You know, normally I wasn't on the whole free Pulisic. Pulisic needs to leave Chelsea. But you know what? At this point, why not go to Leeds? You know, Wolves is the all-Portuguese team. Leeds can be the all-American team. Why not? But yeah, Leeds just dominates Chelsea 3-0. Huge news in the Prem. Also, to finish off the soccer segment, Lille scores his first couple goals. Also scored a brace. Scored in the first minute of this game for Barca. So yeah, he's back. But his old team was doing what his old team does. No Lille, no problem. Bayern obliterates. Now facing, of course, on talent, on paper, the worst team in the Bundesliga. They win 7-0, which I feel like is probably the 20th time Bayern has won 7-0. But we don't ever talk about the Bundesliga as the Farmers League. We always say it's Liga 1, which I do not understand. But anyways, Bayern dominates. It looks like they're going to dog walk with Dortmund struggling. Looks like they're going to dog walk the Bundesliga yet again. So yeah, Bayern really only needs to worry about the Champions League as usual. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, Lille get it done. His whole team also getting it done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now to go over to entertainment. Oh, we're going to talk telly. All right, we're going to talk telly. Harley Quinn as usual, even though this was probably the episode so far in the entire series with the least amount of Harley in it, and even Ivy in it, as they only really showed up at the end. And what they showed up to is what the entire story of this week's episode was about. Joker, wanting to be a great stepfather, decided to become mayor, to get back at his new arch rival, not Bats, not Bruce, Debbie. Now, I know this might sound crazy, but it was actually very, very good, all right? It was a good episode. I'm not going to lie, it was a good episode. Joker was raising some actually valid points, unbelievably so. As mayor, with the dual enrollment stuff, you know, them being able to learn a language, which was his whole point of becoming mayor, and just kind of how he went about it. It was entertaining, as Harley Quinn always is every single week. But yeah, they did a great job. It's not always easy when a show kind of shifts its focus from its main character to highlight other characters. It can come on sometimes. The narrative, the overall story can be lost, but they still found a way to highlight a different character while also being able to push the story forward and still provide entertainment. So yeah, just another hatch, you know, another notch on the hat of what has been greatness so far from this show in its 3 seasons. But yeah, another great episode. Joker was great. Joker interacting with his family and Benicio, that was great. Two-Face and Jim continue to be hilarious. Joker is now mayor of Gotham because Jim Gordon, out of just it caught his emotions, it caught his heart, the way Joker sacrificed himself for his stepson. So Jimbo withdrawal from the race. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Joker as the mayor of Gotham and what kind of that's just gonna be crazy. But yeah, another great episode for Harley Quinn. We're back. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. Thrones fan, we back. We back. Play the theme because we back, alright? We back. House of the Dragon. You know we had to talk about it. You know we had to talk about it. No, we had to talk about it. It was great. It was a great debut for House of the Dragon, especially after the bitter taste that Season 8 left in many mouths. House of the Dragon got us all back. Not that I had any doubt, but because of the lore of Game of Thrones is just so deep. So many great stories to tell, and we got a great one. We got great actors. And Matt Smith is Daemon is a menace. All right, Daemon Targaryen is a menace. He is a menace. I'm not even gonna say anything that comes. He's just a menace. In this episode, he was a menace, an absolute menace, a charming menace, but still an absolute menace. Otto Hightower is also a menace, but not in like the good way that I was kind of talking with Daemon. Otto is just a menace. All right, he's like, it's like Littlefinger and Tywin had a child. Or I guess in this case a grandfather. It was the way he pimped out that was just out of pocket. That was out of pocket, the way he pimped out Alicent. Also cool to see Alicent and Rhaenyra's kind of relationship, them being best friends. I know it's different from the books, but just kind of a cool dynamic to see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the future, however, with that. But yeah, Rhaenyra was great. Allie came out of nowhere. I forget her, Allie Walcock, I think it is. Yeah, Australian actor, literally a year older than me, I think. She bodied the role of Rhaenyra. She was great. The series, Paddy Considine, what an actor. The series just had to make a tough decision with the Emma, and then it didn't pay off. His child died anyway. It's so tough. The emotions, it had everything. It had everything. Everything you expect out of the Game of Thrones, it had. All right, we had politics, we had sex, we had violence, we had everything. We had absolutely everything. Dragons, we had everything. It delivered in episode 1. I needed episode 2 yesterday. I cannot wait for next Sunday and for us to talk about the next one on episode 108, because my goodness, did House of the Dragon deliver. Now, music. We will talk about the album. If you want to hear me talk about Pink Venom, watch the reaction video. It was good. It was good. But we're going to talk about Aitch right now, alright? We're going to talk about my boy. Close to Home. Highly anticipated album drop from Aitch. I'm going to give it, I think I said we're going to go with a 9 point, I'll give it a 9.1. I'll give it a 9.1. I'm stuck between a 9 and a 9.2, but a 9.1. This is one of the best albums of the year. I feel like we've said that in consecutive weeks now, which is very, very good for the music quality, which a lot of people have been saying is mid. I would disagree, or at least recently I would disagree, but anyways, Aitch, one of the best albums of the year, I would dare say. That kind of sequence with Check, The Palm, and 100 Times was absurd. It was absurd. Those were my 3 standouts off of second listen, because I got around to a second listen. Those were my 3 standouts besides the singles. But yeah, he didn't really miss. I wasn't really feeling maybe like 1 or 2 songs in the entire album. I think it was like a 16, 18 song project. So again, that's a very, very, very high quality from Aitch. And yeah, he delivered. He delivered bars. He did different genres. We had the hype stuff. We had the introspective, emotional stuff. He gave, he gave what he needed to give, as they say. He gave what needed to be given, and he delivered. He absolutely delivered. But yeah, probably one of my favorite albums of the year, especially that kind of, again, like I said, that sequence with Check, The Palm, actually one of the singles in between that. So it's Check, one of the singles I can't remember, The Palm, and then 100 Times. I will put that sequence of 4 songs against pretty much any 4-song run that we have heard this year. It was that good. 9.1 for Close to Home for Aitch. Fantastic album. Go check it out if you haven't already. Baseball. I will once again give you the glory of hearing me talk in sadness about my favorite baseball team on the planet as the New York Yankees continue to lose. After all we did was win, in the words of DJ Khaled, in the first half of the season, since the All-Star break, we have done nothing but lose. We went 4 for 14? 4 and 14? Over the last 18? We've lost 24 of the last 36, or something like that, as of a couple days ago. I don't even know if we're making the playoffs at this point. We legitimately might lose whatever statistical anomaly it would take for us to lose, we might do that. This team just cannot win a game. We can't win a game to save our lives. If you handed a W on a platter, served it up to the New York Yankees right now, it would be a swing and a miss, and we lose. Whether it's not enough run support, whether it's bad pitching, it's everything. It's absolutely everything. There is nothing that the Yankees are doing right now. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's been horrid. Horrid. It feels almost like when the Lakers last year, after that kind of All-Star break once again as well, where it felt like unless Braun went off for like 40 or 50, they lost every single game. It feels like unless Judge just does something ridiculous, the Yankees lose every single game. That's how it feels right now, and it's not a great feeling. It's not a great feeling. I'm not a Lakers fan, so I didn't really feel that pain. But as a Yankees fan, I am now feeling that pain. It has been misery in New York. However, it's been great for the Mets, but it's been misery for the New York Yankees lately. However, it's been very good in St. Louis because the machine is back. And last week, I promise, this is not me repeating a segment, even though I'm repeating a segment. Albert Pujols hit yet another, a day before I record the podcast, yet another 2-home run game, and he is inching closer and closer to that 700 mark that we all desperately want to see the machine hit. And it looks like he's going to hit it sooner than later. Pujols does it again, this time against the Avalanche, and not even at Coors, at Busch, or whatever they're calling St. Louis Stadium nowadays. But Albert Pujols has been great. He's been great recently. It's been like watching the Pujols of old. Sometimes him at a bat. He's been having some great days at the in the box. Not even when he's going for 2 homers. He's just been hitting good in general. So yeah, good to see from Prince Albert. And hopefully the machine gets to 700 because that would be a legendary moment. And I think it's gonna happen sooner than later. Now, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the roundup, and the roundup is very, very brief. It's very, very brief this week. I'm going to say a couple things. The only real major topic is NASCAR. We got Watkins Glen this week. And that's even a setup for next week. Everything in the roundup is pretty much a setup for next week. I'm not going to lie to you. But Watkins Glen won by Kyle Larson. Again, he's one of the best pure drivers, I think, probably on the planet. So no surprises here. Him and Chase had that, I guess, little kind of difficulty. Second time it's happened with Larson's win coming at Chase's expense, even though Chase finished 4th and also wrapped up the regular season title. So I think the kid from Dawsonville is going to be perfectly fine. Possibly some tension there. We'll see. 2 of the best drivers. Argue a lot of people might say the 2 best drivers in the game right now in NASCAR. So interesting there. But of course, the bigger story, besides even Larson and besides even Elliott wrapping up the regular season championship, is the fact that Daytona is now cemented to be must-watch television next week. If you are not watching Daytona next week as a race fan, as an auto race fan, I don't know what you are doing. It is going to be lunacy. It is going to be a bloodbath. Blaney, of course, has the advantage over Truex, but knows that he needs to win. And anybody can win Daytona. Bubba needs to win. Everybody outside of that top 16 needs to win. There is 1 spot left, and you bet that people are going to be doing everything they can to win Daytona next week. It is going to be absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. Especially towards the end. So, Daytona looking like it's going to be an instant classic last week as we got 1 spot and way too many racers. And it's way too close for comfort at one of the craziest tracks at which anybody can win with just a stroke of luck. So, going to be crazy. Daytona, one of my favorite tracks, so I'm very excited about that. But congrats to Larson's on the win at Watkins Glen. Now, with that said, Chelsea Gray did her thing for the Aces. I saw that. Sue Bird also hooping for the Storm. So that's my WNBA love, because we're going to say this, and we are going to conclude. College football is back this coming week. It's week 0. All right, it's week 0. We're back. Yes, all is right in the world. Football is back. All right, it's back. So yes, college football back next week. We got a game next week. Not here, unfortunately, at Florida Atlantic, but we do have a week 0 game. And anything that happens big in week 0, of course, we'll talk about on 108. Also, F1 is back, so finally the summer break is over. So it'll be interesting to see how fast Max can win the championship, because that's really all it is. And if Ferrari is going to break dear Charles Leclerc. We will see what happens there, but without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you for 108. But for now, Ocho, signing off.